In what way does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? Our media product uses many forms and conventions of real media products. This was done so that our short film, magazine, and poster all appear as realistic and mainstream as possible. However, we also develop and challenge certain forms and conventions of real media products in order to stamp our own ideas on our short film, magazine, and poster. In terms of our short film, we had to decide what the theme and purpose of it would be so that we could agree on a target audience and decide whether we wanted our film to be educational or experimental. We decided to make our short film for experimental purposes in order to play with different areas of cinematography, sound, and editing, whilst promoting ourselves as directors. British short films will generally utilise contemporary issues within the UK and focus on themes such as unemployment, war, multiculturalism, gun or knife crime, youth deviance, and many more, as a means of tackling the harsh realities that many people face within the UK. However, our short film moves away from this downbeat and pessimistic tone, avoiding these common themes, as we decided to challenge the conventional purposes of short films by making a short film for the pleasure of viewers and for non-educational purposes. In terms of the narrative structure, we decided to follow the forms and conventions of a short film by incorporating only two main characters, making it subjective due to the time constraints. In a short film, it is vital not to include too many main characters, as the audience are not able to sympathise and relate as much. By following this convention of a short film, the audience are able to empathise with the character of Adam much more than had there been 3 or 4 main characters. We used a combination of narratives in our short film. Firstly, we used the traditional linear narrative to show that a certain amount of time has passed, keeping within time constraints. We have also incorporated the use of a circular narrative, a popular technique in short films, as by returning to the beginning of the film, the audience can see how the situation of Adam has changed dramatically. Furthermore, our short film also includes a restrictive narrative, as we wanted the audience to find out what happens at the same time as the characters. We used a variety of different camera shots, movements, and angles to portray a scene in a number of different perspectives, demonstrating the creativity and experimentation of the film. Advanced shots and movements such as bird's eye views or a sweeping crane shot were unavailable to us, as we were restricted in terms of equipment, using only DV handheld cameras. We incorporated a number of local and simple day-to-day locations for 2 reasons. 1, because of a low budget, and 2, because we wanted our film to appear as realistic and relatable to the audience as possible. An extravagant Hollywood studio takes away from the realism of a film, therefore our use of everyday locations and the DV handheld camera makes the appeal of the film appear all the more realistic. We preferred the use of high-key lighting for realism and to create overexposure. The use of high-key lighting suits the theme of our film, as had we used a lot of low-key lighting, it would have made the film appear dark and eerie. We followed the conventions of a real short film in terms of sound, as we incorporated minimum dialogue and focused more on the score to drive the narrative. By doing this, we are reliant on the score to tell the story, which we feel we do very well, as the theme of contrast is clear. We did not feel the need for a voiceover, challenging a common convention of short films. Our editing follows continuity and is generally used throughout the film. We used a lot of cross-cutting to show a link between the 2 characters and the contrast between their storylines. Simple editing is generally used in low-budget films, as the equipment is not available for glossy editing. Therefore, we stuck to the themes and conventions as we found it suited our film and purpose. It also makes the storyline more understanding and effective. For our film poster, we have stuck to all the themes and conventions of a real film poster, as we wanted it to appear as realistic as possible. We incorporated the use of a title, tagline, names of actors, bin and block, images, and BBFC classification, as a real film poster would do. As our film is a romantic comedy, we wanted to follow the conventions of a traditional and iconic poster for a romantic comedy. The poster of Bridget Jones' Diary influenced and inspired our poster greatly, and we incorporated many conventions of this poster, which denotes to the audience that this is a romantic comedy. We used a red font on a white background to denote the theme of romance and love, which is a common technique for romantic comedies. We also decided to have a picture of the stars and the £10 note in order to make it seem more appealing to the audience, as key images within the film are included in the poster. All of these themes and conventions are typical of a feature-length film, and we have challenged the conventions of a short film by making a poster for it, which is generally uncommon. We have also decided to include the actors' names and images, which is unconventional as they are unheard of and are unlikely to attract an audience to watch it. However, the appearance of the actors, in terms of age, is relevant to the target audience. Our magazine follows many of the technical elements included in a real magazine article. We incorporated the use of a main image, subsidiary image with captions, a main text with a breakout paragraph and a breakout box in order to make it seem as realistic and conventional as possible. We also incorporated the use of a bold sans serif font for our headline and serif font in our main text, once again following the conventions of a typical magazine article. In order to appeal to our young audience, we included a star rating and a brief overview of the film, as young people tend to look at all other aspects of an article before reading the actual text. In order to target our female audience, we ensured the pictures used were of a female preference in terms of the theme of romance, and our background image follows the same genre. We gathered inspiration from Total Film and Empire on how to approach our mode of address for a younger audience. The text itself is appropriate for the target audience, as it is easy to read and gives a simple and appropriate overview of the film. We did not want it to appear too in-depth as magazines such as Sight and Sound, as this would not appeal to our target audience.